Well, he got his coat, didn't he?
He did, in the end. Oh, he was handed his coat. Obviously, there was an inevitability about it. It's not something that people should take any particular glee out of, someone losing their job. But by the same token, it's not something that someone should have been put in. I mean, he was, as I said before, he was going to go for a death of 1,000 cuts, because it's one thing putting a decent football manager in and asking him to do an elite job. It's another thing putting an elite manager in and expecting him to do one. And they had the former rather than the latter.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the narrative of what he's achieved over the last 3 years. Not because I want to pile him, because he's a perfectly decent man that was given an opportunity, and 99% of us would have taken it. But looking down the line and looking at it since the day that he came in and the day that he was given the reins, after the PSG win, to where we are today, what are we talking about in terms of progress? This narrative that's being spun up, that there's progress. Yeah, it was a dark, toxic place when Jose Mourinho left, but it didn't take 3 years to get rid of that dark toxicity. It can take about 5 or 6 months. And the last 2 years, you've just been drifting. And if you look at the underlying, my view is this is being driven by share prices. If you look at Manchester United and look at the Glazers, they've got 70% of a business has got 161 million shares. Their share price, when they put Ole Gunnar Solskjær in, or they gave him his new contract, was $16, or went up to $18. The share price has dropped down to $15.73. They've just had $400 million wiped off their value of Man United. This is what drives these decisions. Man United can continue to thrive without winning anything, with the Glazers at the helm. Because
is that how the Glazers are really running it, Simon?
They've got a business that they paid 500 million quid for.
Stock market?
They've got a business they paid 500 million quid for, which has got a market cap of 2.7 billion. So their share price is driving a lot of their decision. When Ronaldo came in, here's what the Glazers did. Ronaldo comes in, share price goes up to $20, they sell some of their shares because they take the gain. Look at the share price now. It's the lowest it's been for some time because the team's stinking, so they make a decision to take him out because their share price is low, and it will restabilise again. Everything is being driven by other forces, and it's a slightly sad thing for United fans that only wanted to see their football team, but they're owned by a group of people that own their business in a certain way.
It's not the only club, though, is it, that work that way?
No, it probably is the most cynical of them all, because at least the Man Cities of the world and the Chelseas of the world have people that sit there and go ka-ching, 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 ka-ching.
I was thinking more like Arsenal,
will load it with debt, service the debt for Man United's money, and drive the business by the share price.
But you were backing them until recently. They've communicated with the fans, they've invested in the stadium, they've invested in the squad.
I've defended them against the allegations that they don't spend money. I haven't defended them against the mechanisms that the decision-making process is driven by their stock price. They're two different things.
Yeah. I think one thing you can say for sure is when you can argue the progression or lack of, whichever way you want to look at it, because second in the league, nearly winning the Europa League, is that really where United are at, which is the narrative you're kind of bringing, which is fine. One thing you can say is that, he's been backed with the money and the players that he wanted. And the squad is definitely in a more healthy place than when he walked through the door. That is for sure. The argument is, would that have been the case whoever was in charge? Probably. But the squad, for a competent manager walking in there now, there's an array of talent. There's lots of depth in the squad. There's competition. Yes, they probably need a holding midfielder maybe, or one or two positions they could look at, but whoever's walking in there is getting a squad full of talent.
But some of those players on that pitch, some of their performances are preposterous.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Imposters.
That's different than talking about their potential quality.
And if you're a player from Manchester United, surely to Christ you've got to be a self-starter.
Yeah,
surely there's got to be something about you. Yeah. I mean, we listened to Harry Maguire and we listened to the narrative. If anyone could use disgraceful, if ever Roy Keane could use a superlative like disgraceful, it was Maguire on Saturday that needed it then. Because that's appalling, getting yourself in a condition where you're trying to get back in a game and you get yourself sent off because you're half asleep at the wheel.
That's right, Simon. And so many questions. One of them being, as I said in the introduction, what on earth is the thinking behind an interim manager until the end of the season? We'll get into that very shortly. This morning, we want to hear from United fans. At any time during the discourse going on between us in here, you want to lift the phone, you can. 03717 22 344. So Solskjær spoke to Manchester United TV on the way out. This is a flavour of what he said.
It's not for everyone, and I've had the opportunity, and I'm so honoured and privileged to have been trusted to take the club forward, and I really hope that I leave it in a better state than when I came. And I made great friends. I've reconnected with some great friends. New staff coming in. I've become really good friends with the other staff that was here when I was there. We're good friends, and we've connected, and that is that's what it's about at a club like this, with the fans, because the fans have been amazing from day one at Cardiff till the last one now. So top, and we'll see each other again. I love Michael to bits. Becoming emotional now because he's top, and that's they'll be fine. I'll watch them and support them.
So that was Ole speaking to Manchester United TV. Simon, I have to say, from a PR perspective, who had that idea?
Well, I mean,
I've made new friends. I've got new friends. We're all blended together, and that's what this club is about.
Look, it confirms the reasons why he wasn't able to take these players to task and get them to a different level. Because clearly, if you look at the talent, Danny will tell you speak to it far better than I can. The talent would appear to be there. So if you haven't got the talent producing an outcome that's vaguely resembling what's somehow symptomatic with Manchester United, because I listened to Gary Neville talking about what's symptomatic with Manchester United. And what's symptomatic with Man United over the last 8 years is winning nothing. And the idea that you can't bring an Antonio Conte into the club just astounds me. Because you've had 4 managers in the last 8 years, whatever Manchester United were, they ain't no more.
Yeah.
So you need to change, you need to rip up what Ferguson did once upon a time, because that was relevant to Alex Ferguson, and look at the landscape of what's happening now. Chelsea, Manchester City, Liverpool, potentially Newcastle, all these clubs are coming like trains. So United can't just rely on the livery of what they once were before. They've got to get proper, bona fide, nailed-on winners. And if Conte goes in for 2 years, so what?
Yeah.
They've all been there for 2 years. Win something in 2 years, start establishing United back as a power force again rather than an economic juggernaut, and you might see people staying longer.
And Danny, in your Liverpool days, you'd love to have played against this United team, would you not?
Yeah, of course. But just going back to the original point, I think you're alluding to the point that the interview maybe shouldn't have happened. Is that way? Is that?
Oh yes.
You see, I'm not jumping on that bandwagon so much, because I think if he might have expressed the desire to speak. And I think that's, if he did, I don't know.
Even if he did.
Yeah, but it's not
he should have been safe from himself.
It's not a problem to me.
It depends what you say.
But it's not detrimental. It's not detrimental anymore. Do you remember when England they asked Roy, didn't they, to speak after they lost to, and they sacked him, and it was a little bit cringe when he didn't want to be, and he even said so.
But why not let people think you're stupid rather than open your mouth and confirm it?
Well, everyone's different. I don't think that you
But
should.
there's no benefit in that, is there? There's no benefit to
But
United. There's no benefit. Ole Gunnar Solskjær,
but it's not detrimental to what's going to happen next.
No, but it's
so
not.
So why jump on it just to kick him around when he's
It's
down?
irrelevant, Danny. It's a total sideshow.
It's not a necessary epitaph, is it? The passing shot that we walk out the door is before we finished clubbing Bambi, he clubbed himself a bit more.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's being focused on too heavily for me. I don't think it's not that important. It's not that relevant to what happens next.
But it is, because the media business drives elements of football, and whether you like it or you don't, the way that somebody looks, the idea of how they speak. This is the parting shot from the guy that you entrusted to run your football club for 3 years. It makes you look even more laughable than when you gave him the job 3 years ago.
You mean the club laughable?
Yeah. Why would you let him do it? Why? Where did "yar" come from? I don't know. Yes,
That's from your educational days. That's from your private school days. Oh,
Incidentally, I heard you were at Twickenham at the weekend.
I was indeed.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.